Hey guys, Green Films Official here, and well, happy Halloween! I hope you guys have been having a great day today. To celebrate this blessed holiday, I'm going to be analyzing a movie that I consider to be the pinnacle of slasher movies. And what is that movie, you may ask? Well, Halloween was released on the 1st of June 1979. At least over here in Australia. It was originally released on the 27th of October 1978 over in the United States and was directed by John Carpenter. It stars Jamie Lee Curtis in her first ever theatrical role and Donald Pleasance. The premise is that Michael Myers, a man who killed his sister Judith when he was 6 in a small town called Haddonfield, escapes from an insane asylum and returns to Haddonfield to go on a killing spree. Along the way, he becomes obsessed with this girl, Laurie Strode, and she becomes his primary target. Chances are I didn't need to explain that to you because this is one of the most iconic horror movies of all time, and for good reason. Most slasher movies are just like a serial killer killing badly written characters and that's it. But Halloween stands out because, unlike most slashers, it's much more than that. Halloween had a pretty low budget, especially considering it's a mainstream movie, but it really makes use of that small budget. As you can expect, the movie is fairly small scale as a result. Most of the movie just takes place in Haddonfield, but I believe that this benefits the film. It keeps things down to earth and makes things feel more real, therefore more terrifying. I love that the Myers home is, well, just a home, because it implies that evil can strike anywhere, which it can. I also want to point out that the cinematography in this bad boy is really amazing. There is so much creative framing and just, it looks amazing. Also, those tracking shots are freaking incredible. John Carpenter used a camera stabilizer known as Panaglide for this movie, mostly for efficiency's sake, and it ended up making this movie a lot stronger. The Panaglide just gives the chase scenes this fast-paced energy that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Also, 44 years later, and this film is still scary as hell. Well, except for the synth stings. Admittedly, they feel a little corny and dated by today's standards. But everything else though, my god. For starters, the film has this bone-chilling atmosphere. The look of the film really helps. It just feels like there's always something wrong, even if you don't know what it is, and it's so good. The idea that Michael is always watching people was just, was so unnerving. This shot looks normal, right? Wrong, fool. Look in the background. That's the car Michael stole from the insane asylum. Michael also likes to appear and disappear whenever he damn well pleases, like he's one of the ghosts from The Shining, giving the film a very unpredictable feeling. There's also this horrifying shot where his face slowly emerges from the darkness and There are also points in the film where you can hear Michael just breathing sinisterly through his mask, and it's uncomfortable to say the least.
I wish I had you all alone, just the two of us.
That's not to mention all the really intense scenes, such as Laurie slamming on the door as Michael is pursuing her, begging Tommy to open it.
Tommy, please! Tommy, hurry up! Tommy, please!
Oh, and let's not forget that really terrifying closet scene. What really sells me on the terror of these scenes is Jamie Lee Curtis's acting. Seriously, she seems genuinely horrified. This has got to be one of the most convincing performances I've seen in a horror movie. And you gotta remember, this is a first-time actress. Like, how is she this good? What is happening? Oh, and what can I say about the soundtrack that hasn't been said already? It's so simple yet bone-chilling at the same time. There's a reason why it's iconic. And the fact that John Carpenter composed it as well as directing the movie, like, John Carpenter is so talented, man. I love him so much. Also, might I add that Michael Myers feels like a genuine threat in this movie? You have Sam Loomis, Michael's doctor, telling these epic tales about his experience with Michael that really helped set the tone.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Michael isn't scary in this movie simply because he kills people and looks creepy. He does other messed up things like killing and eating dogs, and even steals his sister's gravestone at some point. Something I've always liked about Michael as a character is that he feels like a living distortion of what it means to be human. Almost all of him is just this cruel desire to kill and destroy as much as he can, and it's unnerving. I believe his mask, which by the way is my favorite horror killer mask in history, perfectly represents this theme. Okay, first of all, knowing how the mask was made, it's basically a distortion of a Captain Kirk mask from Star Trek. And second of all, it casts shadows over his eyes, making them look completely black. Eyes are typically seen as the gateway into the soul, and so by obscuring his eyes, it gives off the impression that he has no soul. This seems to be something a lot of the sequels don't understand for some reason, like, no, bad Halloween Resurrection, bad, why can I see his eyes? One small but really cool detail I like is that during the climax when Laurie pulls the mask off Michael's face, he almost seems horrified and aggressively tries to pull it back on before Loomis shoots him. It's as if he's afraid to appear human. Something else I like about this movie is that it's implied that despite Michael's lack of normal human nature, that he has some sort of depraved sense of humor. It's just things like when he disguises himself as Linda's boyfriend wearing a ghost costume, or when he puts Judith's gravestone over Annie's dead body. It's little things like this that show that there's more going on between those ears of Michael's than meets the eye, and I love that the film gives him that personality. However, I believe that if there's anything that makes this movie work above all else, it's the character of Laurie Strode. What makes her work is that she's not like Ash Williams from Evil Dead or Chris Redfield from Resident Evil. She's just a normal, relatable, down-to-earth teenage girl who just wants to live her life and, make some money by babysitting this kid Tommy, who, by the way, she has a great relationship with. Some of the best scenes in the movie are just her and him interacting. They just feel so realistic and wholesome. I love them so much. She's also shown to really care about Tommy and his friend, Lindsay, and, when Michael is coming after her during the climax, they're her top priority, and she tries to protect them. She's also shown to be resourceful and quick-witted, like when she grabs a coat hanger and makes it into a weapon to escape from the closet. It's great. Because Laurie is so relatable, you see yourself in her shoes, and it makes the parts at the end of the movie where she's being hunted down by Michael that more terrifying. I also want to briefly talk about Loomis, because I really like him as well. He's not just some paranoid crazy man. You can tell he genuinely wants what's best for Haddonfield. And he has a pretty entertaining personality as well, shown through the scene where he scares Lonnie and his friends away from the Myers home. Also, that part of the end where he shoots Michael is simply badass. I love it. Seriously, how can you not love this man? Overall, the reason why, in my opinion, Halloween is the pinnacle of slashers is because it isn't about the kills. It's about the atmosphere. It's about being genuinely creepy, but it's also about the characters. Laurie and Loomis are genuinely lovable characters, and that's what makes this movie terrifying. This is one of those movies that understands that to be truly scary, you need to give a shit about the characters. And, well, it gave us characters that I cared about and wanted to succeed. Evil might not have died tonight, but at least it's been halted. At least until Halloween 2 comes out. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my analysis of Halloween. I know I had fun making it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Your support really helps out. And hey, if you feel so inclined, please leave a comment on this video. I really love getting and reading comments. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed and have yourself a spooktacular Halloween night. Bye!